Good afternoon. I'm Elizabeth George, Director of Member Engagement and Chapter Development with the American Guild of Organists, and I'm very pleased to welcome our chapter leaders to the September Town Hall meeting. I think it's a wonderful opportunity for all of us to get together today, and particularly for you to get to know your new National Council. But first, what I would like to do is introduce our Executive Director, James Thomashauer.
Thank you very much, Elizabeth, and welcome everybody. Nice to have you all here for this opportunity to meet with the leaders of our chapters. We thank you for your service. What you do is vital for the American Guild of Organists, and the AGO couldn't carry on without the leaders of our chapters. Our chapters themselves are vital. And we know that because we focused on that during our strategic plan. And I'm just going to take a moment right now to put that up on screen if I can. And just show you the point here that the first goal we have is to ensure, is focused on chapters, ensure an excellent member experience across all chapters. And we look over here, we want to identify the characteristics and best practices of strong chapters in a variety of settings. Increase opportunities for chapter leaders to easily share ideas and best practices. That's what we're doing today. Enhance and expand chapter support services. As a matter of fact, you go to the second item, our second goal is right here on volunteer leadership, maximize the effectiveness of the AGO's volunteer leaders. Again, between chapters and volunteer leaders, now you know why we're all here together right now. We want to do everything we possibly can to strengthen our chapters and the volunteer leadership and support our volunteer leadership. The word chapters appears about 10 times in the 2-page document of goals and strategies on this page and the earlier page up here. So I searched it out. It was about 10 different citations for chapters and a bunch for leaders as well. Anyway, with that brief introduction, let me turn it over to our esteemed president, Michael Bedford.
Thank you, James. I would like to just echo what Elizabeth and James have already said about the importance of our chapters. I'd also like to just highlight the fact that it's difficult these days to find things that are good about the pandemic, but I think we have found one. I think we found several, to be truthful, but this is definitely something that has come about on account of that. And I can see this going all kinds of different directions and being utilized in so many ways. And so it's wonderful to see the people on the screen. It's great to have people in the room with us that are viewing, and we hope that you will find much encouragement and support through this. You know that you can contact us anytime. Our contact information is in TAO, so please let us know if we can be of any help to you at all. And so I'd like to continue the meeting by introducing my very dear friend, who is a former Southwest Regional Counselor and is now our new counselor for membership. A delightful lady, wonderful organist, fine person, and the lady who wrote this introduction for me, Dr. Vicki Schaefer.
And the check is in the mail for that, Michael. So, so thank you for that. Hi, everybody. It's great to have you with us. And as James pointed out, I'm sure you noticed that as part of the strategic plan, you know, between leaders and chapters and membership, it's all about the people. And that's, I have the great privilege of being able to serve as counselor for membership now to reach out to you and to be here for all of you, whether it's chapter support, membership development, whatever you need, that's what I get to do. I oversee a couple committees, which are all about you. So whatever you need us to do to help, you can either reach out to me, or I also have the privilege of working with Elizabeth George very closely. So I have a bonus because I have a person that is she is on my speed dial, so I can reach out to her whenever. But, you know, we're here for you. You know, we are called the American Guild of Organists, not organs. So it's about the people, and it's a pleasure to serve as your counselor for membership. So please stay in touch with me and let me know how I can help in whatever way. And now I get to turn it over to a person who has a great job looking over our finance and development, Mr. John Dixon. So John, take it away.
Well, thank you, Vicki. I've been asked to sort of describe my function serving on council, and I think the best way to do that is to say that I am your elected representative, meaning you, the chapter leaders, and all your, any AGO member. I am your elected representative to be the eyes, ears, and mouth when it comes to matters of finance concerning the AGO. And of course, we can only have a strong organization if we have strong finances. And so I have the pleasure of working with James in particular on budgets. So we have to put sensible budgets together. We have to monitor our progress to make sure that the things that we thought were happening were happening. You are probably aware that we've received 2 very generous bequests, and there's a matter of policy there as to how we should use the bequests. And it might seem like the AGO is a very wealthy organization, but we have to treat the endowment funds as our seed corn, and we can't go eating our seed corn. So a lot of what I work on is how do we plant an appropriate amount of seed corn to reap a bountiful harvest. And in particular, that happens on the development side, because I'm also the counselor for development. That's the code word for asking people for money. And organists generally don't like to do that, but we have some good people to help us do that, and that's going to be a focus of our efforts going forward. So there are really 2 sides to what I do. One is monitoring the money that we have and making sure that the budget is properly put together and is followed. And to do that as your representative, that's very important. And then the second thing is to help raise more money so that we will maintain our financial strength, and therefore will be able to provide all the services that we're talking about in this meeting. And that all has to happen within the context of our strategic plan. So that's basically my introduction. I'm sorry that I have to leave this meeting. I'm speaking to you from Myrtle Beach. I'm preparing to play an organ recital tomorrow evening with a live audience. And that is probably, I think it might be one of the first live recitals in this country since we were all locked down. And so I thought I would just mention that. And if you, as chapter leaders, who of course are thinking about similar things, if you are interested to know how that goes, perhaps you would give Elizabeth a message that you'd be interested to know about that, and then I'll prepare a short write-up for a future chapter newsletter so we can share this experience. I really don't know. I think there might be about 40 people there. I think they'll be wearing masks. I think they'll all have to sit down wherever there are programs and then leave in sequence and all sorts of interesting things like that. So I'd be very willing to share that experience with you if you're interested. So please tell Elizabeth and she'll get back to me. So I'm the guy who talks about numbers, and then the next person to speak is my very good friend Leslie Wolfe Robb, and she deals with words. So over to you, Leslie.
Thank you, John. As John said, I deal with words. I'm National Secretary and Counselor for Communications, and it's great to have all of our chapter leaders who are able to participate today. I wish we could see your faces as well, but as most of you know, that gets a little complicated on Zoom. I know you have received your most recent chapter newsletter and would just encourage you to check out 2 things in there that fall in my portfolio. One is the invitation from our technology committee. Director Harold Stewart wrote a brief paragraph reminding you that the technology committee is here to help if you have a question about how you might want to improve your website, or how to do a webinar, or questions about Zoom breakout rooms. They are more than happy to assist you with that. Likewise, things like virtual concerts. They're happy to provide and share their expertise with any chapter that would like to have that. And then Leah Semikin, who's one of our headquarters staff people, has been assisting me in revitalizing the chapter leader Facebook page. And there was an invitation to join that in our last chapter leader newsletter, and we doubled the number of people who are members on that page in less than a week. So thank you, Leah, for your help with that. And I hope that you'll all share some of your ideas, whether it's how you go about doing your first live concert back to what we think of as normal, or what you're doing in your chapter during these times when we can't all gather in person. So it's a great resource to share things that way. And the other committee that falls in my portfolio is the Editorial Resources Committee, which assists our TAO editor with content for the magazine. So if you have suggestions or ideas for that, I'd love to hear from you. I have the privilege of introducing Jonathan Ryan, who I've never actually met in person. We only know each other from video screens on Zoom. Jonathan is our new Vice President and Counselor for Competitions and New Music.
Look, good day, everybody. It's good to see you. So Leslie, I'm actually just a robot. I'm just a figure of your imagination on a screen. It is good to see everybody. I'm really so glad we're taking time to do this. I have just recently begun serving as vice president, having served on the chapter level of a number of chapters, both large and small, including here in my hometown of Dallas, Texas, where I'm coming to you. And I was blocked out of getting into my office today because of various school pickups, so I apologize for my tardiness. I am a counselor for competitions and new music. So I want to just first say a word about new music. The committee we have on new music is doing a few things that I'd like to point out. First is that there is some more emphasis on commissions. This is alongside, of course, the composition competitions that have been in place as well. And I want to say that the New Music Committee is trying to be very conscientious about bringing to our organs repertoire pieces that will be of very practical use to many of us. For example, as we play in our churches on Sunday mornings and so forth. So I'd ask you to please keep an eye out for what is going to be coming from the AGO in terms of new music. I think you might be really interested in following that. Also, the New Music Committee is being very aware, of course, of things such as gender balance. So there are some really great ways for us to support that important effort as well. In the realm of competitions, I have a few different committees that serve that. One is for what's called the NIACOP, the National Young Artists competition, and also the committee that runs the organ improvisation competition as well, and the committee that runs the Regional Young Organist competition, the RCYO. I'd like to talk to you all about the RCYO for just a minute. As I think many of you probably know, the RCYO begins at the chapter level for competitors and then moves on to the regional level for those who move on. So we have an October, I believe, 15 deadline for, to apply to host a chapter level competition, which will take place in February, March, and April of this coming year, 2021. So with our pandemic and all of the things that brings, this will be done online via Zoom and so forth. So I would like to encourage you, especially if you have not ever taken part in the RCYO, to consider your chapter, hosting a chapter level competition in the first part of 2021. I think this is a really cool and interesting way for us to keep doing what we do, especially in supporting young people, even in spite of our pandemic time. There is lots of information on the AGO's website, on the RCYO page, which you can access by just going to competitions and new music, competitions, and then the RCYO page. They're about what that would entail. The committee has put up a lot of information. For example, there's FAQs, there's all kinds of information to answer lots of questions of how on earth can we do this online, and what am I getting myself into, and I don't know technology, and what about, all of those kinds of things. It's very practical and very, very, very helpful. So I'd throw that out there for you all to consider the RCYO chapter competition, so we can continue to support our young upcoming organists. Thank you all.
And
Hello,
now,
everyone. Yeah, I was just going to chime in there, Elizabeth.
I'm
think-
sorry.
Am I right?
Yes,
Yeah.
it is your turn. Thank you.
My name is Vince Carr, and I'm the new education counselor. And I just want to point out the fact that so much of our national council is new people. And I just can't wait until we can finally meet in person, because we have a great energy, and there's a lot of freshness that has been present in our meetings. And so I think, you know, we've been stressing the idea that we're here for you, and I want you to know that we're a highly actionable team. So we hope that we can make your experience as an AGO member and that of your chapter better, whatever we can do. So under me, I have 4 committees. It's pretty extensive because the AGO is fundamentally an education organization. And so we have our pipe organ encounters, which we're hoping is going to go full steam ahead in the summer. It will be one of the few things that hopefully we can keep in person this summer. I also have the Committee on Professional Certification, and they actually are looking into ways in which we can update the exams and kind of do a comprehensive review of those based on feedback that we've gotten. And it's amazing. I've already been the recipient of a lot of feedback from members and people who have taken the exams, and the committee just loves that. They love to hear what can we do. So one of the things we're going to try to do is to really incorporate more diversity into the repertoire, particularly for the AAGO and the FAGO, maybe even as early as the end of this year. The other committee that is present is Continuing Professional Education, and this is kind of a broad committee. So we want to hear from you as to what kind of educational resources would you like throughout your career, right? So whether you're a new organist, you've been in your job as a veteran, would you like to be able to access TAO articles, for example, in an online database? So you can go and just get the article that you want from 2005 or this and that. Would you like some different kinds of instructional methods online? So these are the things that we're exploring now to see if we can make that online experience better. We've recently teamed up with the RCO, so the Royal College of Organists. You can be an affiliate member for a nominal fee. So it's been really fantastic to have that relationship because their online campus is really inspiring. And then lastly, we have the Committee on the New Organist, and that is for programming that, you know, organists, people who are new to the organ, whether they're young or old, or somewhere in between, and what kinds of educational resources would they like. So I just want to encourage everybody that if you have ideas, that I've met with all the committees and they're incredibly receptive to these ideas. So sometimes we can seem like the leadership is somewhere else and the chapters are functioning in another location, but hopefully we can create that highway in between the two. And we hear you, we see you, and we want to make things better. So I'm delighted to introduce the lovely Nicole Moran.
Thank you, Vincent. Hello, everybody. I'm Nicole Moraine. I am the new, as Vincent, a lot of us are new. I'm the new counselor for conventions. And you might be thinking, well, how am I in my chapter? How can Nicole help me? Because obviously every chapter is not doing a convention every year, thank goodness. But I am hoping that I can inspire you. So John mentioned playing a live recital. That's great. That's great. But not everybody can do that. And I do know that some chapters have been doing some chapter meetings over Zoom. And I know Atlanta is doing that very soon, my home chapter, which is very exciting. So the reason I bring this up.
Oh, dear, she's frozen. Okay.
Sorry.
There you are. You're back. You were frozen.
Okay, sorry. Very sorry. I'll be really quick just in case it happens again. So anyway, so the Atlanta convention, we were hoping to see everybody. We were very disappointed, but we very quickly pivoted to the online format. So all to do to inspire each of you and your chapters that anything is possible. So to get inspiration, you could check out OrganFest. Leslie has mentioned the technology committee. So you can talk to them or me or anyone about Zoom, webinar, all of those things, virtual recitals, live recitals with the audience virtual, you know, all of the things. And I look forward to a convention in person one day soon that we can all see each other again. So I would like to now introduce Jillian Gardner, who is our AGO Young Organist representative. And I think I said your name wrong. I apologize, but over to Jillian.
Thanks, Nicole. Hi, everybody. My position has been kind of constantly evolving the past few years into what it is now. But the Agoyo Committee and I have an excellent virtual program year planned. I hope that you all have seen it. And out of that, we are really just hoping to connect with young organists, encourage them to get more involved, giving them a voice for what they want as the future of the guild that will be in these leadership positions at some point. We are hoping to just reach all of our members, no matter what level they are, no matter what organ they play. We're dealing with members that is just the beginning high school student all the way up to the young professional, and they're 25 to 30 years old. So to balance all that, they need very different things. So we're doing our best to do that. But I'm very excited that we now have a position on National Council and a voting position. So we've made a lot of progress there. And I think that's all. So next up is Leslie Smith, who is the Northeast Regional Counselor and the chair of the Board of Regional Counselors.
Yes, thanks, Jillian, and hi, everybody. So I am lucky enough to be in my second term as the Northeast Regional Counselor, but I am the newly elected chair of the Board of Regional Counselors, so yet another new face to be able to sit around this table with such an amazing group of people. I really like to think of regional counselors as being direct links to our members. We have an amazing group of district conveners whose roles are being reinvigorated as we speak, with a great cheerleading from Elizabeth George. And with these amazing people and with all my regional counselors, we really are focusing on that practical level of how can we support you, chapter leaders? How can we support the membership experience for all of our members? I think a lot of us know that the AGO experience can vary wildly depending on what chapter you're currently living in. I've lived around the country and my AGO experience varies. And so what we really want to do is make sure everyone feels supported and in creating the best membership experience possible. A great as Michael was talking about the silver lining of COVID, we have found a wonderful silver lining, which is that your regional counselors can attend almost every single chapter meeting. So if you're a chapter leader and you would like to have them there, or even if you don't, maybe they should come in either way, please invite your regional counselors to your chapter meetings. It's such a wonderful way to close that gap. Right? Sometimes we feel like a chasm between the local AGO chapter and, national at headquarters, but we're really here to help you. And that's, I think, what I've been hearing from all of our national counselors. They're just the level of interest and engagement with all of you. And we really want to be here to help in any way we can. And that's it, basically. That was my list. So thank you all so much. And I'll head it back to Elizabeth George.
Thank you, Leslie. So I hope you all can see I think we have a dream team. I really do. I'm so thrilled to be working with the National Council this year, and they're excited to be working with chapters. And I would be very, very remiss if I didn't introduce two other people that are really, really important on the membership team. And Leah was mentioned earlier, Leah Semikin, who is based out in the LA area, who is our chapter relations manager and who is now going to really be driving our chapter leader Facebook page and does some also excellent marketing for us. So I can't thank Leah enough for her support. And Molly Davey, who may be the person that you speak to most often when you call AGO headquarters. I had this idea. I woke up in the middle of the night and I thought, I don't know, we'll have to talk about how you feel about this, but I almost consider you, Molly, our membership concierge, because there isn't anything that Molly doesn't know that can't assist a member with. And to this day, after 15 months of work at the AGO, she helps me every single day. So glad that I could introduce the staff to you as well. So what I want to do is I just want to share, before I turn it over to Shannon I want to share my screen, and I want to talk a little bit about a wonderful dashboard that has been created for us each month. Instead of just looking at an Excel spreadsheet that says, well, here's the new members we have, here's the new members we've lost, here are the categories that are increasing or decreasing. Over the last 12 months, Leah has really provided a story for us to look at. And it is one that we look at very, very closely every month. And it is one that from now on, going on, U.S. chapter officers are going to see, because you are the AGO and you are a great part of what we are looking at now in this dashboard. So it starts out with members by category, and it talks out of how many we have recruited. We are looking at the July dashboard. We can't give you the August numbers yet because they need to be reconciled. There are some people that will be reinstated that Leah is still working on. But you can see we have it going back from July to June to May. And you know what? I will even, what I'll do is, I think the best thing to do is to post this dashboard in the Chapter Leader Toolkits area on the website, which I will show you where to locate in just a couple of minutes. But it is really important that we take a look at the member counts. And in particular, from July 2020 to July 2019, you can see we have lost 1,000 members. Now, I'd say it's a bit high, and I think Leah would agree with me. One thing that we did to help those that were affected by financial challenges during COVID-19 is we implemented a 3-month grace period. So we gave people 3 additional months in which to hopefully be able to renew their memberships. So if we went back and we looked at June, you'd probably see, let me see if I can show this to you, about an average of 700. I think we've been looking more at about an average of 700 plus people that we've been losing every year. So why are we losing them? Some people are aging out. Some people have retired. Some people are no longer with us. Our our regular membership group is now growing into the special membership group. And what is so important is that we continue to grow our young organist group. And this is a chapter membership counts by region. And I know a lot of you have said, can you not just send me my own dashboard, if you will, of numbers of my chapter each month? But you can get this very easily on Card. And I encourage you, if you don't know how to pull the reports, they're on the Chapter Leadership Toolkits, or you can call Molly or Leo or myself. You really need to look at these every month because it shows you not only who's up for renewal, but maybe who just expired and really didn't intend to drop their membership. And as well, it gives you a list of those who were members over the last few years. So you've got another wonderful prospect list to look at. So this dashboard, as I said, will be uploaded every month into the Chapter Leader Toolkit. So I'm going to stop the sharing there. And I now want to share with you, if I can, and I think I can, our American Guild of Organists webpage. And by the way, we have a wonderful new chapter information technology officer, or excuse me, chief technology officer. So over the next few months, this website, which continues to intrigue me, I'll put it that way, is going to become easier to use. It's a little difficult to find things at the moment. So that's why I wanted to take you through a visual tour very quickly. So if we go over to membership and we go down about 4 tabs, voila, here are your chapter leadership toolkits. And these continue to grow because you are sharing best practices with me that I'm including here. But we have a toolkit for each officer position, starting with board management and governance, building a leadership pipeline, chapter election and voting procedures, something which I think we're going to have an entirely separate webinar about. But we've redesigned this so that there are so many tools for each of you to use to recognize, recruit, and renew your members. As I said, how to pull access, how to pull reports on OnCard. We've given you sample welcome emails, scripts for a phone call if you're going to call people, a script for your dean or program coordinator, whoever is going to speak either at a Zoom program or face-to-face, to be able to have a script that they can use so that they don't have to go at the last minute, I forgot to write something down. I'm particularly happy to share with you a new membership flyer that was recently created. And what is especially exciting about this is you can now add your own information of who you want to be the contact for your membership, the position, the email, the phone, your website. There's probably even room if you want to add your Facebook page. The way you edit is that you have to download this first and save it, and then you will be able to edit it. So this is a great opportunity for you to use digitally, or when you do come together, as the Charlotte chapter will for their first meeting tomorrow with John Dixon at the organ. Hopefully they will be using this flyer as well. So just some ideas here, programming, finance, we have a sample budget worksheet, a wonderful, we have archives of our newsletter and some wonderful media resources that Shannon is actually going to talk about a little bit later. There's just one more page that I want to share with you before I give this over to Shannon. And this is one that has continued to develop month by month, sometimes week by week, under the leadership of Eric Burke, who is on staff, as well as the Committee on Career Development and Support. And this has just been, I think, become a Bible for a lot of our members. However, there's some that still don't know about it. So I encourage you, just because you know, oh yeah, they've created this page, I encourage you to come back to it every couple of weeks to see what new resources are there, particularly when you get down to the resources for musicians in religious institutions. And there was a wonderful article that David Scott wrote in the July issue of TAO, and he's going to be talking about this in more detail. We have a webinar coming up next Wednesday that totally from A to Z addresses the legalities of online streaming for church services and recitals. So this is really another great resource. There are a lot more. Under education, upcoming AGO webinars, workshops. So this is where you can register. And then as well, we've also got past webinars and supporting documents, if we can get there. So for those of you who may have missed these presentations, you can relive them again. There are links to all the presentations, and these are also on the sub pages of the chapter leadership toolkits. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen at the moment. And what I'd like to do is introduce Shannon Four, who is, in addition to being a wonderful addition as a volunteer, as a district convener and a professional development coordinator, he is Senior Director of the International Account Management and Project Management at Deal Peak Group LLC, globaltravel.com, which is a membership organization specializing in subscription services in the area of travel, telemedical, tech support, identity protection, and it has revenues of over 250 million annually with over 500,000 subscribing members. Shannon holds a bachelor's degree in organizational communication from Rollins College and has a master's in business administration from Stetson University. and he has become our go-to guy for everything marketing-wise, and particularly when we talk about social media. So Shanna's going to talk a little bit today about, even during this time of social distancing, what you as chapter leaders can do to keep recruiting. Because I'm just going to say one more thing. If you look at those numbers of people, an average of 750, say, we were losing each year, and we have what, 282 chapters? It wouldn't take you a lot to recruit 5 or 6 or 7 members to stop that gap of losing, and then even recruit more. So I'm going to stop there, and Shannon, please take it away.
Hey everyone, Elizabeth, thank you for the introduction, and thank you guys. I've been with the AGO it's been more than 20 years now, and even though I'm not a professional organist, I am a musician. I do play the organ and the piano. I've always loved the Guild, and it means so much to me. And it just so happens I have this, this unique situation where I work within a membership organization, and I like to help my church out. I like to help, the AGO out in any way that I can with the experience that I have. What I'm going to talk about today, I know some of us know how to do some of these sort of things, and some of us may not know how to do some of these things. But I think the message is in terms of, continuing on within this environment, and I know Michael alluded to it, and actually I think we all did, Nicole did too, is, we've gone through some tough times, but I think that this mess has actually turned into some really cool opportunities for us. I think Organ Fest was an incredible example of what we've been able to do to take these lemons and turn it into our new lemonade. And, looking at that, and then also looking at our own businesses and our own churches, there are so many different similarities. I'm pretty sure that most of us have recognized that, our churches had to adapt in some way, shape, or form to this new normal by streaming their services, by looking at different ways in order to continue their funding, continue getting their gifts, and to continue their mission, which is, of course, to reach new disciples for Jesus Christ. And a lot of those similarities that we have gone through within our churches are what we are experiencing now, or what we really should be experiencing and doing now within each of our chapters. Organ Fest, as I mentioned before, is a really good example. And I think what I want to do is just talk about two things in terms of being able to do this sort of thing from a high level for each of the chapters, and then also in terms of recruitment within this medium. How do we capture those names of people that may be interested, and also reach those groups of people that we may have never been able to reach before? Because within this organization, I think we can all relate to, okay, our AGO chapter is going to have a concert, and let's say we've got 20 of the same folks we always see that are within our chapter. And we're within those 4 walls, within that area, and that's really all that we meet. Where this departs from the norm is when we introduce the social media side of things. And what I wanted to talk about is, from a high level, like I mentioned, is how to do those things, and also how to take advantage of a couple of those things. So I think, do I have my screen share on? Can you guys see my screen?
You've started screen sharing, but we're not seeing yet, I think, what you'd like us to see.
Okay. Can you see
Yep.
Facebook?
Okay.
See Bishop Curry there?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, so, really simply, when looking at chapter events, there's a lot of different things that can be done. I think for this scenario, I want to talk a little bit about using Facebook to create a live event or a live stream. And on anybody's Facebook page, you're going to have this little live button, which is located right over here. And that would be right over here. Now, if I were to go to, let's say, our local chapter Facebook page, I'll see that little button, and it's located right over here. And quite simply, all you have to do is click that live button. And rather than getting into a lot of these other details that make it a little bit more complicated, what you would do is you would use the use camera screen. And by the way, if somebody does not have access to a laptop or a desktop while they're at a concert or they're holding some sort of an event, they can always do this on their cell phone. And an Apple iPhone is usually the easiest thing to do. And just as an example, the little icon is on the Facebook page as well. I don't know if you can also see my screen, but it's here. I can show it to you later. So then all you have to do is click that use camera button. I don't think it'll work right now because I'm doing a share screen, but what would happen is you can kind of see a preview in the lower right-hand corner of the screen in terms of what you're able to see. The next step is over here on the left side where it says live video title, and that is where you would put the event name or something that we are doing within our own chapter is we're creating like either a newsletter, a monthly newsletter, which is a video or a preview of a concert that's to come. And you put that over here in the information section. Now, over here is something that's also very important where it says, say something about this video. This is where it kind of goes into the, okay, if somebody's visiting on our website that's within our realm of our network of friends inside of Facebook, where could they go in order to learn more about the AGO or learn more about our organization and joining it? This is where you would type the URL, let's say, to your local chapter. And that is really a way that people can find out a little bit more about your chapter. I'll make this all make a little bit more sense in just a second when I finish explaining. But that's generally how you would basically start the live stream. And then down at the bottom, once I fill this information in, it'll give me the option. And it's probably because of the data. Oh, I'm having a camera issue. Down here at the bottom left, it says waiting for video to go live. What would happen is I would have the ability to click the go live button. So because I knew Murphy's Law might kick in here, what I did is I did some previous screenshots of how this would look. So once you go live, and I'll send this to everybody afterwards, or Elizabeth, you can use this.
We're recording this. Everybody's going to get a link.
Use this later. Okay. So once you go live, this leads into another area where I'm talking about, remember those 4 walls, and we had those 20 folks that may have been sitting in there that are the people that we see all the time that come to our AGO events, or maybe just our members. A really important part of this is that if we're going to use this medium is to use it to our, to its maximum capacity. Now, what you can do when somebody creates a live stream, and I do this with my with church, I go to the Azalea Park United Methodist, is you create a watch party as a Facebook user. Now, what that means is I want to share whatever it is that I'm watching as a live streamed event with everybody who may be live that's a friend of mine. Now, I've had my account on Facebook for probably 15 years, so I have about 2,000 or 3,000 friends that are on there. that are from, all over the place. What this does is when I create a watch party here, and when you're live, you have the ability to go and you click the share button, and then you click the share a watch party button. What that does is it actually makes available the live stream to everybody that may be online at that time, that you can invite personally to watch that live event. And if you look here in this example, this is from church a couple weeks ago that I took this. This is an example of the live stream going on. I created a live party, and then what I did is a watch party, and then I shared it onto my Facebook screen. And then if you see all these little green lights here, you see how each person has the ability to view this that's online. And then what happens as it's on, people start joining, and they just kind of click and they want to see what's going on. You see that this person here, Jim Bryant, joined, and then you can share this with other folks. What I wanted to show you here, it's kind of hard to see, but in this circle here, within about 5 minutes, I was already sharing the church event with about 6 or 7 different people. That's just on my side of the thing. Now, if you look at it from a each one reach one perspective, or even from a multiple of different ways of looking at this, let's say you look at it and let's say that 20 of those people that were sitting there, if they're all sharing their event, you have the ability to reach an additional 120 people. Actually, it's more than that, isn't it? It's 6 times 20, so it's going to be much more than that. So no, that is correct. So you see how it immediately gets you to so many more. It's an exponential sort of thing in terms of the reach. Now, being able to collect that data and being able to reach out to those individuals, something that we've instituted at church, and from a more of a production sort of thing. And this is a little bit more than just being able to do a live stream. There's a software called vMix, and it allows us to put up the PowerPoint slides, or also the scripture while the minister is talking. The reason why I point this out is that this is also an area, while you're doing a live stream or a live concert, where you can be putting up the information about the piece that's being played, but also how they can learn more about your organization. And within that system, you can pass them over to a collection system. And usually with any kind of marketing system that's out there, or any kind of mailing system that's out there, and what I mean by that, oh, of course the phone has to ring. What I mean by that is there's all kinds of different marketing systems that are out there to handle mail. And of course there's MailChimp, there's ad campaigns, there's GetResponse, there's SendLane. They all have the ability for people to subscribe to your mailing list. And what I wanted to show you is what we do on our page for my church is we send people over to our website from the live stream while people are watching. And when they go to our website, they automatically get a pop-up to subscribe to our mailing list. Now this is and you go ahead and you fill out the information here, and then you subscribe, and then it gets placed into that mailing list that may be for, in this case, it's for our church. And within our church, I have a list that's for members, and then I have a list that's for prospective members or guests that have attended, that have also attended online. And this is really where that portion of the experience becomes, how do we get folks to engage with our chapter, with our church? and we tell them about the upcoming events, and then we tell them about the value of becoming, a member of our church, but also a member, let's say, for the American Guild of Organists chapter.
Shannon, someone posted a question that I think is good that I'd just like to pose to you. Is it possible for our chapter members not on Facebook to view a Facebook live stream? If so, what's the best way to share it?
What they can do is, if they're not able to watch it on Facebook, over here, once a Facebook Live or once an event has been recorded, it will automatically post to your timeline. But if you look over here, quick access to your live videos, you can copy the link and it'll automatically save it. If I were to be able to go, I can't get over to my other share drive page that I manage. But if you go to, let me see if I can go over to my church's website. Or to our Facebook page. So what Facebook automatically does is it keeps all of the past videos, and you just go over to the video section, upcoming live videos or past, and all the past live videos are automatically stored here. So if they don't have Facebook, that's where you have the ability to ideally also have a YouTube page that has been implemented, because you can do the same thing for the most part on YouTube. And I actually have that here. This guy over here, Michael, is our dean, and he actually did the same thing on his church's Facebook page, the Cathedral of St. Luke in Orlando, Florida. And he does the same thing, except they use YouTube. YouTube is a little bit easier to use if you're going to do pre-production things. And I think that would be just maybe the final thing for me to touch on is one of the really cool things about being able to do this is you can record a lot of this stuff in advance. It doesn't have to be live. You don't have to get worried about, getting cold feet about performing all of this stuff while everything's going on live. And to give you an example, what we're going to do rather than not have it is we always have a spooktacular every year, and we have this in order to raise money for our scholarship fund. What we're going to do is pre-record it. We're going to have 5 or 6 different performers. We're using Facebook to do it. It's very easy to splice these sort of things together within the systems that YouTube has and make this happen. So it can all be done in advance. So, I think the messages here is, it's important to continue on. If some of the chapters that are out there haven't done anything because they're afraid of folks coming together, or like our treasurer, if they're starting to come back and they're starting to have those live events, moving forward, we all have to be thinking about doing both now, because we can reach so many more people doing this. And that's what we're going to do within my organization at church, and then also within our local American Guild of Organists chapter. So I hope that's been helpful. If anybody has questions, I'm more than happy to help out with specifics on how to do this. Also, there are some documents that have been uploaded where Elizabeth has pointed out earlier where this information is located. But I look forward to speaking with you and helping you out.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I think the point of this is, I certainly been hearing from some chapters that they just are kind of frozen. They're not doing anything. And there's no need for you to feel this way. There is absolutely no need for you to feel this way. you need to continue. You need to stay connected to your members. And it's great to be able to have this ability to have a Facebook page to connect. So I encourage you to do it. I encourage you to use Zoom, even if you don't want to record a recital, except you know now that there are a lot of links on our website to some wonderful material. That you do have some Zoom connections, you stay connected with Facebook, and you know now that we have a technology committee who can help you with this. So I want to thank you, Shannon, so much for giving us a bit of a deep dive. The only one question that someone had a concern about was they thought that they had heard that as of October 1st, Facebook Live was not going to be able to allow you to stream.
No, that's not
Okay.
the case.
Okay.
And even if that was the case, you can always move over to YouTube.
Right. Right.
Yeah. And then, you know, you also have the streaming services for conferences. You know, there isn't just Zoom. There's a lot of other ones that are out there. There's a lot of other free ones. uberconference.com is another one. That's free as well.
Okay, great. Wonderful. Thank you. Well, we have come within the just about under 2 minutes to an hour mark. And I know that there have been some great questions and comments posted in the chat box. And Nicole, your ears should be ringing because, wow, were there a lot of lovely comments about Organ Fest. But the point is, beauty in the midst of chaos is among us all, and it can be done on a smaller scale. And we are all here to encourage you to not be afraid, to go ahead and take the leap and try it, and know that you have a lot of resources and a lot of people that can help you. And I'm going to turn the closing over to James.
Thank you, Elizabeth. What a wonderful session. Very interesting comments in the chat room and in the Q&A in the midst of all of the conversation we've been having. Thank you all participants. 83 currently. We were up over 90 at one point, which is a terrific number of participants. Let me remind you that we have some funds available still for those who are in need of funds to meet their membership renewal challenge. And Elizabeth George is in charge of that. So if you know a member who's got financial challenges but would like to continue to be a member of the Guild, please put them in touch with Elizabeth George, or you yourself, please contact Elizabeth, and we can help that member out. We raised money during the Organ Fest specifically to cover individuals who are with financial need to renew their memberships. So please, let's make use of that effort. We have those funds available. We've got a number of people who are not visual, but who are from the staff. Eric Burke has been monitoring this show, as has Joshua Freeman. And so thank you to the other staff. We mentioned earlier, Leslie mentioned earlier, that the regional counselors are thrilled to be able to participate in chapter meetings. I am too. And I bet any of the staff and National Council members would love to be able to participate in a chapter meeting if we were invited. We're not going to show up without an invitation, but if you'd like any of us to be there, let us know, and we'll be more than happy to join you. Again, I thank you all for your participation. And Elizabeth George, thank you for pulling us all together. I'm going to let you finish it up.
Thank you, everyone. Look forward to hearing from you and seeing you very soon. We're going to try to keep these town meetings up every other month, because we think it's really important that we stay connected. So everybody stay safe, stay well, and we look forward to seeing you next time.